Come set up my magnet gallery for Easter with me.
I have my hot glue gun ready and warming up, so let's get started. Here are my 2 vintage postcards that I plan to put in my frames. And I've gathered some of my magnets that I've used in the past that are ready to be put out again for spring. This is the bag of items that I've gathered for Easter, and so let's go through it. I got a big pack of all of these flowers at the thrift store in the crafts section, so the green one's ready to go up. I thrifted these carrots and I just couldn't work them into my decor, so I think I'm going to put them on my fridge. Same with this picture. So many of you have tagged me in those picture videos, so I'm going to make it into a magnet. My daughter made the chick and I got that carousel horse, but neither one of them ended up making it onto the gallery. They just didn't work. I also have that Easter tin, which was hard to work into my decor, so I thought it would be best as a magnet. And then you guys told me when I got these little wreaths, I should make nests out of them, and I happened to thrift some eggs, so we'll do my best. And I also have a couple of magnets that were used last year from Easter, so those are ready to go. I'm also really excited to add this golden pin that I got at an estate sale. Let's start out with this picture because I'm going to use E6000 instead of hot glue to put on the magnet because it is very fragile and very heavy. I want to make sure that the magnet doesn't come off, and sometimes it does when you use hot glue. So I'm going to get this centered on here and then set it aside for at least 24 hours, ideally 48. The magnet's a little bit big for it, but it'll work. Next, let's get started on this pin. It does seem to be a shame to take that off, but I can always add one back on later. I filled the base to build it up to put a magnet on so it doesn't scratch my fridge, and then I'm doing the same with this lid. For the others, it's really easy to make them into magnets. I just do a little dot, and then I add a magnet depending on how heavy the item is. For the nest, once that dried, I'm able to then add a magnet on the surface, so again, it won't scratch. Looking back, I should have put some kind of cardboard blocking or something in that lid so I didn't have to build up a base, but I built it out of glue. Oh well. For the nest, I started by putting the glue on it and adding eggs. I realized quickly that wasn't going to work, so I tried it with just the egg. And the first try was rough. It wasn't great at all. So I tried a different way of going about it, and the second one turned out much better. So I'll make that one into a magnet, and then this one I put the hoop back on it, and I'm going to hang it by the front door. As for my frames that are usually there, I'm going to change those out from winter to spring. I have these old mock postcards. They are supposed to look vintage, but they are not. I got them from Amazon. I had a hard time trying to figure out what I was going to frame in the pictures. One of the postcards is a rabbit in a carriage with chicks pulling it, and it's just kind of an odd scene, so I am moving the frames around just to kind of figure out what I could put centered there. The chicks are cute, but with the holsters on them without any context, it's weird. So I basically decided to do just an up-close view of this brown rabbit and then use the bigger one to show the entire scene, even though it's still a little odd. But vintage ones had that kind of vibe, you know? I think it worked out, and I still have portions of those postcards that I could use on something else in the future. And since they're not really vintage, I don't mind cutting them up. So here is a reminder of what my fridge gallery looked like before I add all of the new items. And here is what it looks like after. It's much more 3D than it's ever been, especially with the nest and the vase and the flowers. Oh, and the carrots. I added just a little hot pink pick to that vase, and I think it's really cute. I love the overall look. It's a good mix of Easter, colorful, and vintage. Thanks for coming along, guys.